Have you ever wondered why a machine suddenly stops working even though everything looks perfectly fine? The answer is often hiding in one of two silent culprits, an open circuit or a short circuit. Let's find out what they are and how to catch them. Before we start, I would request you all to please subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon to stay updated with my latest videos. What is an open circuit? As you can see, we have a battery and a bulb connected together with wires. When we complete the circuit by connecting a wire jumper across the open ends, the circuit closes, current starts to flow, and the bulb lights up. Now, if we remove this jumper, the circuit breaks, current stops flowing, and the bulb goes off. This is called an open circuit. An open circuit offers infinite resistance. If we measure the resistance across an open circuit using a multimeter, the meter will display OL, which means the resistance is effectively infinite. Now let's look at a short circuit. As you can see, we have a bulb and a battery, and the circuit is completed by inserting a fuse. The circuit is complete and the bulb lights up. Now if the bulb suddenly short circuits, excess current flows through the fuse, causing it to blow. This breaks the current path and the bulb goes off. If we now check the resistance across the bulb terminals, the multimeter reads 0 ohms and the buzzer sounds. This is called a short circuit. Now let's look at an open circuit from a PLC control panel perspective. Identifying the alarms as you can see on the HMI, we have two active alarms, a tank level low alarm and an infeed valve alarm, indicating that the valve is failing to open. By referring to the electrical diagram, we can confirm that this valve is operated directly via PLC digital output. Tracing the wiring from the PLC output travels to the terminal blocks inside the main panel and then continues out to the junction box terminals at the field side. The first step is to command the valve to turn on from the HMI and then measure the voltage at the terminal blocks. As you can see, we are getting 24-volt DC at the terminals, which confirms that the PLC output is healthy and there is no issue on the PLC side. Checking continuity on the load side next, we will disconnect the PLC output wires from the terminal blocks and set the multimeter to continuity mode. We then place the probes on the terminal blocks at the load side. As you can see, the multimeter is showing an open circuit. No continuity detected. Let's verify this further by switching the multimeter to resistance measurement mode and reinserting the probes accordingly. The result is the same. The multimeter still shows an open circuit with no resistance reading. This confirms that the fault lies somewhere on the load side towards the valve. Step 3. Inspecting the junction box. We will now open the junction box in the field. And there it is. You can clearly see that one of the wires has come loose from its terminal. This is most likely the root cause of our open circuit. We will now secure the loose wire connection properly and close the junction box. Coming back to the main panel, let's check the resistance once more. This time the multimeter reads 160 ohms, which is the coil resistance of the valve. This confirms that the circuit is now complete and the fault has been resolved. Head over to the HMI and command the valve to open. As you can see, the valve opens successfully and there are no more active alarms in the system. And that is how you troubleshoot an open circuit fault in a PLC control panel. Now let's look at a short circuit from a PLC control panel perspective. We have an active alarm indicating that the infeed valve is failing to open. By referring to the electrical diagram, we can confirm that this valve is operated directly via a PLC digital output Tracing the circuit, the wiring from the PLC output first goes through an electrical fuse, then from the fuse to the terminal blocks inside the main panel, and finally continues out to the solenoid valve at the field side. The very first thing we check in a suspected short circuit scenario is the electrical fuse. We will remove the fuse from its holder, set the multimeter to resistance mode, and touch the probes on both ends of the fuse. As you can see, the multimeter shows no continuity. The fuse is completely burnt out. A blown fuse is a classic sign of a short circuit somewhere downstream in the circuit, confirming that excessive current has passed through this fuse from the field side. We will now replace the burnt fuse with a new one. But before inserting it, let's quickly verify the new fuse by checking its continuity. And as expected, it shows a healthy reading. However, simply replacing the fuse will not solve the problem. The short circuit is still present in the wiring or the load. If we energize the circuit now, the new fuse will blow again immediately. We must find and fix the root cause first. Locating the short circuit to isolate the fault, we will remove the field wires connected to the terminal blocks inside the main panel. We set the multimeter to continuity mode and place the probes across the terminals on the field side. As you can see, the multimeter reads 0 ohms and the buzzer sounds. This confirms a dead short circuit on the field side based on the electrical drawing. The wiring from these terminals runs directly to the solenoid valve, with no junction boxes or intermediate connections in between. The solenoid valve coil becomes our primary suspect. We will now head to the field and replace the faulty solenoid valve with a new one. Once replaced, we come back to the main panel, set the multimeter to resistance mode, and check the resistance across the same terminals. This time, the multimeter reads 128 ohms, which is the healthy coil resistance of the new solenoid valve. This confirms that the short circuit has been resolved and the circuit is now healthy. Head over to the HMI to command the valve to open. And as you can see, the valve opens successfully with no alarms in the system. And that is how you troubleshoot a short circuit fault in a PLC control panel. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe for more practical PLC and electrical troubleshooting tutorials. See you in the next session.